Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 15, National Football League. I dubbed Week 13, I dubbed Week 13 here in the lab room Showdown Sunday in Week 13. Week 14, the NFL Network took it a step further. They dubbed it Survivor Sunday in the National Football League. I'm dubbing Week 15 Letdown Sunday in the National Football League. A lot of teams had opportunities to really do some serious damage, to do some work, to take advantage of other teams' misgivings, to take advantage of some opportunities in the playoff standings in Week 15 and just didn't do it. They simply failed to take advantage of opportunities that were given to them. Simply put, some Christmas gifts were given out early and some teams declined to take them. Here's one of those examples of a team refusing to accept a charitable gift. Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys, America's game of the week on Fox. Thought it was going to be a massacre. I said, no Aaron Rodgers. Look, I know this Cowboys defense is bad. I know they're bad. But the Packers aren't going to be able to take full advantage of just how bad this Dallas defense is. They're just not going to be able to do it. I don't buy Matt Flynn being able to get it done. I know what this guy's about. And I think this Dallas Cowboys team at home will do plenty to win this football game. Eagles have already been absolutely dismantled in the 1 o'clock games in Minnesota. So, hey, if you're Dallas, here's an opportunity to take their name out of the playoff picture. Take them from in the playoffs and stick them into the in the hunt category and take your name from out of the in the hunt category and slide it right into that slot that says NFC East. Here's your opportunity. The Vikings have given you an early Christmas gift. Here you go, Dallas. Merry Christmas. And you said, we couldn't take that. I'm sorry. We can't take that, Minnesota. Well, let's see. Let's see how. Why did the Dallas Cowboys not take that gift that was given to them by the Minnesota Vikings? So, huge game. And let's not forget here, Green Bay Packers come into this game at 6-1. And I talked about this on the playoff race for the NFC East, for the NFC Conference. Packers have an outside shot. Look, the Bears, you don't know what you're getting from them, and they had a close call in the 1 o'clock games versus Cleveland. You don't know what you're getting from them from week to week. Detroit playing on Monday Night Football versus the Baltimore Ravens. They struggle. They turn the football over. They could lose. All you got to do is win. You win, and you'll find yourself right there at the end of the season. And so here's a big one, though. This was the one you had to get first. You don't get this one, forget about all the rest of them. So 6-1 Packers taking on the 7-6 Cowboys. Huge game for both teams. Huge playoff implications involved in this one. Solid opening drive, bogs down for the boys. They settle for a 47-yard field goal. It's 3-0. I'll talk about this a little bit later on in the game. But right now, it's not a huge deal. It's 3-0. Cowboys take a 3-0 lead. 39-yard James Jones catch and run sets up a 57-yard Mason Crosby field goal. It's 3-all. So Packers respond to the early field goal by the Cowboys. We're knotted up at 3. I said, well, maybe, just maybe the Packers will be able to take advantage of this defense after all. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. So then a 41-yard DeMarco Murray run followed by a Dez Bryant 22-yard catch yields a 23-yard field goal. It's $6-3. This is where I stop and talk about the inability of the Cowboys to get in the end zone in this football game. Look, that's a problem, okay? That's a problem right there. You settle for a field goal on the first drive. It happens, okay? Drives bog down sometimes. You got to settle for a field goal. 23-yard field goals, inexcusable. Any field goal that's 20 anything yards, I have a problem with it. That means you got inside the 15-yard line. A lot of times you get inside the 10. You know, anything inside the 9-yard line, and it's a 27-yard field goal or in. And 23 yards means you made it all the way to the 5-yard line and you couldn't get in the end zone. That's a problem. I need you to get that in the end zone. And at the time, and I'll say this, at the time of halftime, It didn't seem like kicking these field goals was going to be a problem. Didn't seem like this was going to be a problem in this game. Kicking 5 field goals when you're up 29-3 doesn't seem like a problem. Just seems like ways for you to accumulate more points in a blowout win. That's what it seemed like at the time. When this Cowboys team, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later. But just know, you know where I'm going with this. So after that possession, it's $63 after 2 field goals. Romo to Witten for 25-yard touchdown connection makes it 13-3. So now, Dallas starting to run away. They're starting to smell themselves. They realize the Packers aren't going to really be able to do much to them offensively. And now they themselves offensively are starting to get it generating into the end zone. And that's what you need to do. You need to run away with this game while it's there to be ran away with, okay? Don't allow this Packers team to hang around, okay? Don't give them hope in this game that, hey, maybe we can win this game. Maybe we can steal one on the road. Put these guys out of their misery nice and early. So 13-3, I'm starting to see that this Cowboys team should be able to run away with this game because offensively the Packers haven't done anything since that opening drive on that James Jones catch and run that set up that 57-yard Mason Crosby field goal. I haven't seen them do anything offensively since then. Dallas adds yet another field goal to make it 16-3. Then they add another one. It's 19-3. So, again, Cowboys kicking an awful lot of field goals. Green Bay struggling offensively. Dallas finally making the Packers pay by putting the game away before the half with a DeMarco Murray 2-yard touchdown run. It's 26-3 Dallas at the half. Now, do you notice the tone of my notes at that point? At this point, I was ready to stop taking notes. I had mentally checked out of taking notes in this game. Okay? As you can hear, let me read this one more time so you get a mental picture, a visual of how I was feeling at this time. Green Bay struggling offensively. Dallas finally making Packers pay, putting the game away before the half with a DeMarco Murray 2-yard touchdown. 26-3 Dallas at the half. That was my notes at that point. So you see how I'm starting to feel. You see where this is going. You know what this game looked like to me at the half, 26-3? You know what this looked like? It looked like Thanksgiving all over again. You remember that game? Packers, Lions? Lions dominated. Packers were thoroughly abused in that game. What the Lions did to them in that game, what the Detroit Lions were able to do to the Green Bay Packers in that game, is illegal in 29 of the 50 states in the United States of America. Okay? I've seen guys get 25 to life for what they did to the Packers in that game. I mean, the Packers didn't even have 100 total yards in that game until late into the fourth. I'm talking about, 3 minutes left in the game. They didn't get over 100 yards total offense in that game. This looked like that. That's how bad they had been offensively in the first half. That's how thoroughly they were dominated in that first half. And so I thought that's what this game was, and that's where this game was heading. That's what it looked like at halftime. Okay? I said, man, and Troy Aikman made a comment, and it was accurate at the time. He said, this Packers offense is making this Dallas defense look like the 85 Bears. And that's pretty hard to do, considering that this Dallas defense is really bad. But that's how bad the Green Bay Packers offense was early in this football game. So, yeah, they were struggling. And that's an understatement. But they were struggling. So we go to the second half. Pat get a TD on a Jordy Nelson jump ball. It's 26-10. Look, I need to make mention of this. You just gave Orlando Scandrick a new deal. All right? Just gave him an extension the other day. And Monday, against the Bears, he had a chance to really impact the football game. When you needed to play by this defense, you needed them to step up. A chance to stop the Bears from scoring a touchdown. Had an interception in his hands. He dropped it. Bears ended up scoring a touchdown 2 plays later, en route to a blowout. It happens. Okay? That's why DBs are DBs and not wide receivers, because a lot of them can't catch. Okay? But now, look, one's It's an occurrence. One's, it's luck. Two's a trend. Okay? This week, Orlando Scandrick in great position. That's probably why he gave him the deal, because he's always around the football. Now, is he always going to make a play? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But he's always around. He's looking for the football. That's half the battle, is knowing where the football is. Well, on this particular play against Jordy Nelson, he had position, knew where the football was. He even went up and made a play on it. Good for you. But you need to come down with it. He let Jordy Nelson, and I call this a BFG. He let Jordy Nelson perform a ball fragment grab on him. And that's simply where the receiver puts his balls on your helmet, snatches the football away from you. Touchdown in this particular case. Ball fragment grab. All Orlando Scandrick could do was get up and wipe the ball print and the ball fragment off his helmet. Like, damn, thought I had that one. No, didn't have that one. You've got ball fragment and ball juice on your helmet. Wipe that off, please. So, at that point, it's 26-10. But I'm still saying to myself, Dallas has this game well in hand. What is there to worry about? I mean, okay, fine, one touchdown. Good for you. Cowboys respond with a field goal. Here we go again. Let me stop right here. Let me interject right here. Cowboys respond with a field goal. It's 29-10. That's 5. Let's count them up. Opening possession field goal, that's 1. Okay? DeMarco Murray busts off a run. Des Bryant gets a catch. You kick another field goal. That's 2. Okay? Dallas adds a field goal, then another field goal. That's 4. All right? Then you come out of the half, Packers get a touchdown, and you say, I'm going to score a field goal. That's 5. 5, count them. 5. Dan Bailey field goals. Now, at the time, again, let's keep this in its proper perspective. At the time, it didn't seem like it was going to matter. At 29-10, you still felt really confident that the Cowboys were going to win this game. As you should have. Packers haven't shown you enough to make you think otherwise. But at what point do you say to yourself, damn, they're kicking a lot of field goals? Don't you think 1 or 2 of these turning into touchdowns is the difference in this game? You know the motto. Field goals don't win games. Guess what? Touchdowns do. And the Cowboys simply kicking too many field goals in this game. Now again, 29-10 lead isn't supposed to be blown. A 26-3 lead isn't supposed to be blown. So even though they're kicking a lot of field goals, you still feel like it's okay. They're going to win the game. And Andrew Quarles' 3-yard touchdown catch caps off another 80-yard touchdown drive, the second of the half. That opening possession was a 80-yard touchdown drive. Now here's a second. As Dallas now is starting to see their lead dwindle, it's now a 29-17 game. And at this point now I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't the same Green Bay Packers team I saw in the first half. What's happening? What's happening is that the Dallas defense is realizing that, wait a minute, we're the Dallas Cowboys defense. What the hell are we doing shutting a team down and holding them to 3 points and stifling them and suffocating them on the offensive side of football? What are we doing being a really dominant defense? That D in defense doesn't stand for dominant defense. That big D in Dallas doesn't stand for dominant defense. Okay? It stands for downtrodden defense. And so it's time for us to wake up and realize we're not supposed to be stopping this team. What are we doing? And the Packers said, hey, yeah, what are they doing stopping us? They're not that good on defense. Hey, let's wake up. And that's what they did. It's 29-17. All of a sudden, those field goals don't look so hot in Dallas now. But you're still up 12. You're still figuring, hey, they'll get it together. This Packers team still hasn't done enough yet to make you feel like they're going to threaten the Cowboys in this game. I still felt like Dallas was going to win this game. I said, they'll still blow them out. Green Bay will make a little furious run, much like Philadelphia did earlier in the day against Minnesota. They'll come back, they'll make it look close, and then they'll run away with the game again. That's what I thought. So, Packers score yet again, this time on a James Starks middle screen from 7 yards out. It's 29-24. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, somebody's in trouble. This is where I said, uh-oh. Uh-oh. The Cowboys are starting to hear footsteps. And in December, when it gets close, at the end of the game, what Tony Romo does when he hears footsteps. Now, I'm not saying it's at that point yet, but I was saying to myself that no way they still come back and win this game. I said, I know this Dallas defense is bad, but they're not that bad. They're going to let them come all the way back and steal this game. Now, we can put this all on the shoulders of the Cowboys defense if you like. Hey, knock yourself out. But what happened to the offense? This team had 26 points at halftime. Again, they kicked way too many field goals, 4 of them in all in the first half. But nonetheless, they had a 23-point lead in the first half. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that the defense did their part, but the offense was also scoring points. So I beg to ask the question, what happened to the Cowboys offense in the second half? I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I know everybody wants to blame the defense. Everybody's going to blame Tony Romo at the end of the game. What happened to this offense during the course of this comeback by the Packers? There wasn't a field goal. There wasn't any sustained offense. This was 3 and out. This was bad execution, bad football, bad play calling. All of that rolled into one during this whole stretch where the Packers reeled off touchdown after touchdown after touchdown and climbed back into this game. So, again, Cowboys at one stretch were outscored 21-3 to get us to the point where we are now at 29-24. So, it's getting a little dicey. It's getting a little dicey if you're a Cowboys fan, but still plenty of game to go. You're fine. Just run it back up. Score some points. Assert your dominance. You're fine. Okay? Now, throwing an interception isn't going to do that for you. And at this point, it looked like, oh, man, here we go. Tony's really, really about to piss this one away. And he throws an interception. It's picked off by Tramon Williams. However, referees look at it again on instant replay. They decide, hey, hit the ground. It's not an interception. Cowboys wipe their brows. We dodged the bullet. They take that momentum from that dodged bullet, and they say, hey, we just used our 9th life in this game. Okay, we got 9 lives, and we just used all of them. We're going to make this last one count. We're going to live it up. So, Cowboys appear to have weathered the storm by driving down the field, and Dez Bryant makes an amazing catch. And this is why this guy is such a stellar threat out wide for the Cowboys. Why he's such a menace. Why he's a top 5 receiver in this league. Top 10. I mean, there's some really good receivers in this league, and he's right up there amongst them because of plays like this. The guy's an animal. All right? He makes plays on the football. And this is one where I would advise Tony to not even throw this one. I mean, back of the end zone, a couple of Packer defenders, 2 Cowboy receivers in the same general area. Witten is there in that same area. So is Dez Bryant. No defender is looking, which made it easy on Tony Romo to make that throw. But again, I wouldn't have even tried it because, again, it was so congested in that corner. A tipped pass here or there. Anything could happen. You got to get points in that situation, especially with the way the game is going at this juncture. You need something out of this possession, whether it's another Dan Bailey field goal, would have been his 6th of the game, or you get 7, whatever. You got to get some points, though. You got to stop the bleeding. And so forcing it in the corner of the end zone with some defenders around isn't the smartest thing to do, but when you got Dez Bryant, I can't say that I blame him. I can't say that I blame him because you got to give a guy like that a chance to make a play. He's proven to you that he can make plays when there's nothing there. You got to give him an opportunity to make a play. Tony Romo did that. And the Cowboys seem to have weathered the storm. I said, man, it was just pouring down raining. But now the clouds have parted. Sun is back out. It's shining. It's 36-24. You've extended this lead back out to 12. I said, that's it. That was the dagger. That's what you needed to secure this victory. Kudos to you for putting together a drive when it seemed like all was lost. When all the momentum was in the corner of the Green Bay Packers, Uncle Mo had a hot dog, some chips, a nice tall beverage. He was on the sidelines, chilling it up with the Packers. Just, hey, Aaron, it's a pretty good view over here. Uncle Mo was having a good time on the Packers sideline. You went over and said, hey, Uncle Mo, come over here, man. We got a couple of snacks for you over here. It's 36-24. Looks like the Cowboys have found a way to weather the storm. Or so I thought. Packers respond with an important 10-play, 80-yard drive, their third of the half. Third 80-yard drive as James Jones gets in from 4 yards out. It's 36-31. Dallas up by 5. Now, when I saw this touchdown by the Packers, I said to myself, wow, they're not going to go away quietly, because I thought that touchdown that Dallas had scored on the previous possession was it. I thought the Packers had given everything they had. They used up all the bullets in their gun. I equated this to a team in a basketball game down by 24, with 8 minutes left in a game, and they make a furious comeback, to cut it to a, 3-point game with, a minute and 12 seconds left, only to end up losing the game by 9 or 11 because they expended so much energy to come back that once they got it down to one possession, they just couldn't do it. And it took so much out of them just to get the game back to respectability, to give themselves a chance, that once they got there, they couldn't quite come over that mountain. They couldn't quite climb all the way up that mountain and conquer it. I thought that's what the Packers had done. They had made a furious comeback. They were down 26-3 at the half. To get it to 29-24, that's a lot of work. And I thought at that moment, hey, you made a run at it, man. I'm not mad at you. You really made a good go of it. You looked like an incompetent team that was going to be blown out by 37 points in this game, in the first half. You went from that to this. I'm not mad at you. Valiant effort, but not today. Today's just not today. But to respond with a 10-play, 80-yard drive, cap it with the 4-yard James Jones touchdown grab, says to me, I'm not trying to go home with an L. I've worked too hard. I've come too far back in this game. I'm trying to leave with a W. Excuse me. All right, well, who am I to stand in your way? Who is Tony Romo to stand in your way? And I thought Troy Aikman made a great point. After this touchdown by the Packers, Joe Buck really was pounding his home. He was really the one that was pounding his home. Joe Buck said, now it's up to the Packers to prove that they can stop the run. They've been able to avoid it all game long because they haven't been able to stop DeMarco Murray. For the second consecutive game, the Cowboys have been able to run the ball at will, but have, for one reason or another, in the Chicago game, you could argue that maybe they needed to go away from the run because of the success of the Bears and them scoring points. I beg to differ. I thought they could have stayed with the run. I thought they were dominant on the ground. But they went away from the run in that game. Maybe they had to. Maybe they didn't. You can argue that they didn't. You can argue that they did. Whatever the case may be, they didn't run the ball as effectively in the second half. In this game, however, you're up big. There's no reason not to run the football. No reason. But now, okay, your lead has been dwindled to 5, but you've got the football. Time is on your side. Now, you just got to eat up the clock. So running the football right now is the best thing for you. So Joe Buck was like, we got to see if they're going to be able to stop the run. Troy was like, hey, I don't know if they're going to run the football. I mean, we think they're going to run the football, but they haven't run the football in the second half. That's part of the problem why the Packers have been able to come back. They stopped running the football, and they made it easy on the Packers to stop them. So I said, okay, well, we'll see. I don't think they're that dumb, and they're that negligent, and they don't understand where they are in the juncture of the game and what they need to do to secure a victory. I'm pretty sure they know that they've had copious amounts of success on the ground, and the clock is right now their friend, but also their enemy, because They need the clock. They need this clock to just run out. And the best way to do that, go into your 4-minute offense. Run the football. Pick up first downs. Eat up the clock. Make Green Bay start using their timeouts. These are all things that will help you secure the victory. So, they decide to come out and they ran the football a little bit. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what Joe Buck was talking about. That's what Troy Aikman thought they were going to do. Then they said, hey, why not try play action fake? Okay, it could have worked, but it didn't work. Then they decided to throw it again. This time, Clay Matthews comes off the edge, untouched. Don't know how he didn't get the sack, but he misses. You know, Romo is very slippery when in the pocket. So he makes a miss, avoids that rusher, but in his haste of being rushed, he's figuring, I got to get rid of this football. Now, Miles Austin is open, but you got to lead him. You can't throw the football where he is. You got to throw the football where he's going. Tony, in his haste of being pressured, wants to just get rid of the football, so he throws the football where, Miles Austin is instead of where he's going. He didn't lead him. And Sam Shields was beaten on the play, but like Troy Aikman talked about earlier in the game, this guy's got world-class speed, one of the fastest athletes in the NFL. Great makeup speed, makes up for, trying to jam Miles Austin at the line and missing, and is able to get back into the play. And Romo, slightly behind on the play, allows Sam Shields to reach in. And again, ex-receiver at the University of Miami, he can catch the football. Unlike Orlando Scandrick, he can catch the football. Makes a great play on the ball, gets his hands on it, picks it off. Wow. Packers have the football with a chance to take the lead, something they haven't been able to do all game long. Packers have never led in this game. Ever. Wow. So Romo throws an interception and Sam Shields picks him off, which leads to a 7-play, 50-yard drive sealed by a Eddie Lacy 1-yard touchdown plunge. It's 37-36. Pack go for 2. Andrew Corliss back shoulder. They don't get it. It's 37-36. Pack up by 1. Wow. Wow. How did we get here? It was 26-3 at halftime. I'll tell you how we got here. The inability of the Cowboys to punch the football in the end zone with all those opportunities to score touchdowns, they settle for field goals. You know the mantra, you know the motto, field goals don't win games, touchdowns do. It looked like it wasn't going to matter at one point, but it did. But not only was that an issue, the lack of the Cowboys' offense to move the ball, to sustain offense, to put up points in the second half, coupled with this defense being atrocious, led to the Packers being able to make a furious comeback. They're now up 37-36 in this football game. Unbelievable. So, that sets the stage for, you guessed it, oh no, it's Tony Romo. It was Tony oh no time. And I had said to myself in this game, nah, not this time. Like earlier in the season when the Cowboys played Denver, and Denver, they had the back and forth shootout. Denver was up 51-48. Cowboys had the ball with a chance to tie or take the lead. In that game, I said, Tony's about to throw a pick. Like, mentally, I had already told myself, Tony's going to throw a pick. They're going to lose the game because he's about to throw a pick. In this particular game, however, I just felt like he was going to come up big in this game. I said he's going to take them down the field, get in field goal range for Dan Bailey's 6th and final field goal of the game that's going to net them a 39-37 victory. That's what I thought was going to happen. I said Tony isn't going to give in to the pressure. He isn't going to be Tony Ono. He's going to be Tony Romo down the stretch. That's what I said. I said, not this time. Not this time. It seems like the stage is set for some Tony Ono action. Oh, no! It's Tony Romo. It seems like the stage is set for him to strike again. But not this time. That's what I told myself. But damn it, I was wrong. I was wrong. It was Tony Ono time. Oh, no! It's Tony Romo. Tony Ono time, baby. And Tony Ono strikes again. Packers, and look, this is mind-boggling. If you're a Cowboys fan, aren't you tired of this? Like, isn't this narrative old already? Like, you watch this movie, and no matter how many times you think the ending is going to be different, it's the same movie. The movie ends the same every time. Doesn't matter. Different team, different week, different year, same outcome, same ending to the movie. Aren't you tired of the movie ending the same way? The plot can change, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Packers, it's Giants, it's Redskins, it's Eagles. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Different plot, same ending to the movie. Aren't you tired? Like, I asked my dad and my sister, aren't you guys tired of this? Aren't you tired of the narrative ending the same way? There's never a different ending to this movie. This Tony Ono movie. The same thing happens. And this time, you could argue that Cole Beasley should have continued his route to the outside. You could argue that because Sam Shields was out, or excuse me, because Tramon Williams was out there playing outside technique and outside leverage, that he was supposed to stop his route. Who's to say who's at fault for that? All that matters is that Tony Romo threw the football. It was picked off. It was called an incompletion on the field. And Tramon Williams got up, and like Troy even said, he was definitive. But what football player isn't definitive that they caught the ball? But the way he got up, I was buying what he was selling. I was like, man, he must have caught that. And they showed the replay, and sure enough, he dug that one out. And I said, wow, Tony, you did it again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You did it again. Oh, no, you did it again. Wow. Unbelievable. Officials go under the replay booth. They come back out. Interception is good. Packers take some knees. They come back in Big D. Biggest Packers comeback in team history. 23 points down. 37-36. Packers keep their postseason hopes alive. Cowboys aren't dead. They got a gift from the Eagles. And letdown Sunday, the Cowboys had a letdown. A monumental, epic letdown. They had this game. Had this game, had a chance to take the Eagles' name out of the playoff race, put them into the in the hunt category, take their name out of the in the hunt category, and slide it into the NFC East slot. That's what the Cowboys had an opportunity to do. Instead, they blow that opportunity. They squander it. They fall to 7-7 on the season. They're at 500. Eagles are still atop this division. And if you're the Cowboys, there's really not much to say here. You blew a golden opportunity to come one step closer to winning this division. Instead, you still got a chance to win. You win the rest of your games. You beat the Redskins in Week 16. You beat the Eagles in Week 17. You win the division. But this is bad. This is as bad as it gets here. This is a demoralizing loss. These are the type of losses that at the end of the season, if you don't make the postseason, gets Jason Garrett fired. And I don't want to hear Jerry Jones talking about what I heard him talking about after this game, how he was going to evaluate him after the season. No, you already said he was going to be back. I don't want to hear it. That's why I said you don't make comments like you made 3 weeks ago when you said, and you know Jerry Jones is an emotional guy, and you get a big win, and oh yeah, he's going to be back next season. I told you to shut your damn mouth, stop running your trap, and stop making promises that you can't keep. You and Reggie Bush made a promise on the same day, and I told you both of you probably weren't going to keep your promises. And I'm not a guy that makes promises I can't keep. Reggie said he wasn't going to fumble. He fumbled on Thanksgiving. You said you weren't going to fire Jason Garrett. Well, if you don't make the playoffs, games like this are going to make you reconsider that, probably going to fire him. So I told you don't make a promise you can't keep. And this was a heartbreaking loss. This was one of those ones. And Jason Garrett said that Tony should have ran the football. He shouldn't have checked to a pass on the pick by Sam Shields. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, doesn't matter. Tony has total autonomy on the field to do whatever he likes. And he just needed to make a better throw. But that's what Tony Romo does at the end of the games. he makes monumental mistakes that cost his team football games. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that the Packers could come from 23 down. They looked like an inefficient, ineffective, anemic offense in the first half. It's amazing that they could go from this to this in the second half and put up 34 points in the second half and win the football game. Unbelievable. But this Dallas Cowboys defense is that bad. The Cowboys offense in the second half was that bad. And Tony Romo down the stretch in football games is that bad. All of that equals a 37-36 Green Bay Packers win. Huge win. Packers go to 7-6-1 and stay right there in the midst of that NFC North divisional race. Now they can only watch and wait and see what the Lions do on Monday Night Football. But wow. What a game. What a game. What a game. Cowboys have a major letdown on Letdown Sunday. If they drop to 7-7, Packers go to 7-6-1 and stay right there in the middle of that NFC North divisional race. So that's going to do it for this installment of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me on Letdown Sunday. Got plenty more games to break down. So come back and join me in Week 15, the National Football League.